Are you feeling trapped right now? Then lean in. This is the perfect episode for you. Today, we are going to be talking about how you can let peace be your pace and you can escape the trap of performance. So excited to be here,
Me too.
Cheryl.
I'm excited too. We just started talking about this, and this concept is like game changing. So I can't wait to talk more about it.
Yes. I think we just kind of dive right in with how we were kind of brought up, or like what's the word I'm looking for? Like what we were thinking before. That's the word I'm looking for. Like what would you say your belief on like success or life, or where were you before now when it comes to performing and
So, like escaping the
approval and
trap of performance and
yeah.
feeling that um it was so I guess before 6 months ago. I thought I needed to do everything and be there for everyone and just like be basically feeling done by the end of the day, like feeling on empty and not energized for myself. And I think performing as a mom, as a wife, as a career person, I don't even like that word anymore. Just as a person, performing as a person, it felt really hard. And the struggle, like that hashtag, the struggle is real. And it doesn't, and we're not meant to struggle until the realization that I was like, what? God didn't make like our life to feel like this. And when I realized that, I was like, okay, I need to make some changes. How about you?
Yeah, I don't think for me it wasn't ever really like just like a light bulb, like one solitary moment, but I think I would have to go to like my overwhelm conversation, which we might naturally be going there. Um and I that was the time, the hardest time that I felt I was striving and striving and striving and like doing all the things and, moving, being the mom, being the, well, I guess at that time I was also like the taxi driver and we were coming out of COVID, which so I was also the educator, but not really the principal, making sure everybody's doing their work. And it just felt so hard. And I actually felt so overwhelmed that I took the word overwhelm out of my vocabulary. And I just, for a year and a half, refused to say it because at that point in time, I was being guided with like more of the personal development side of like, okay, what we speak, we bring, right? Like where energy goes, attention goes, energy flows. So I took that. I was like, we're speaking what we say into existence. Not rooted in the Bible at that time, still believed in God, wasn't believing God or moving with God. And I took the word out. I was like, all right, I'm done speaking it. I'm gotta, something's gotta change. And that was around that same time. I read a book. I think it was called, I know it was called Essentialism. I think it was like by Greg McGowan or something. I don't know his last name, Greg somebody. And in that, he said, we had to stop overcommitting. That was a big problem. And I was like, yes. So for me, it was overcommitting and like all the things I'm going to do for all the teams at like all my kids. I have 4 kids. They were all in 4 sports, or like they were in 4 different sports. So I was like, okay, are we having a party with this one? We're doing a mom's social with that one and da. Then work from home wife. So the duties around the house and what are the kids' schools, like making sure they're doing schoolwork. So there was so much there. And I was like, and he said, if it's not a heck yes, then it's a heck no. And that for me at that time, I was very much a people pleaser. I was wanting to try to see how many people I could make happy at one time and do all the things. And because of the overwhelmed feeling, I started saying no. I practiced saying no. And that started guiding me to a little bit of peace, but it was fleeting, right? Like until this last 7 months, it was fleeting. And then in these last 7 months, like fully surrendering, fully surrendering, walking with Jesus as my best friend. I think that was the switch that needed to go on for me, was contemplating, being willing and getting curious, like all that, and questioning with myself, what does it look like to make Jesus my best friend?
Wow. When you were talking about all of that, like the performance came to mind, or performance came to mind with identity. It's like we then identify ourselves as like the busy sports mom or the busy work wife or like the career woman, the mom boss. Like we identify with that and then we're like, "Oh, we have to keep up that identity. So maybe we have to keep doing the same things." But now that we get to make these decisions from a different place, from a different heart posture. And I think that's what came up today is like, where are we making these decisions from? And what we wanted to bring you, if you're feeling trapped in performance that you have to keep up with everyone else, it's like keeping up with the Joneses or keeping up with Love Island. um, like keeping up with different things. Um, even the keeping up with the Kardashians, like saying keeping up. It's like, are you keeping up? Because you're gonna always feel left behind. You're gonna always feel behind. And but God didn't make you to keep up with other people. So just want to put that question in your brain.
Yes. And even keeping up with the idea and the vision that you have of yourself. And before we press record, we were kind of like talking. I was like, I get I feel like performance to me what came about because of conditioning from the world, and I come from divorced parents, and kind of two different experiences at each house, like single mom, 5 kids, working all the time. My dad married, blended family, working a good majority of the time, but not all the time. And it just was like two opposite ends of, or feeling like two different ends of the spectrum. And um, neither one right, neither one wrong, but always kind of like setting like, what do I want after this? I'm going to be like, when I go out into the world, I'm going to be faced with these decisions. And I do know that family had a big influence on like, which of course came from the world telling them that this was the way it was. You go to school, you get good grades, you go to college. Hopefully, because you got good grades, you get a scholarship or something to help you with college. And then you graduate college with good grades and you get a good job, you get married, you have kids, and then you go work and say la vie. That's life. And talk about hard questioning of all of that along the journey. There's been some hard questioning. Um, but ultimately coming down to what what are we called to do with God? Like what does God say? And I guess one thing I want to make sure that we touch on today is when you start fixing your eyes on God and you start prioritizing your relationship with God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, the Trinity, you will receive the peace, the joy, the love, the compassion, like all the forbearance, all of that, all the fruits of the Spirit. You will receive that as evidence. So the way we were created is we want evidence, and sometimes we won't go into something until we see evidence. And so we hope that by showing up on this podcast, in our communities, on our challenges, and so on and so forth yet to come, and that you get evidence from our testimony, and then you start getting curious, and it inspires you to activate that journey, that relationship that's there waiting for you.
Yeah, when you're talking about that, that reminded me of my mom boss journey after I had my third child, Hunter. Um, eh, I kind of went into this like, okay, my mom was 40 when she had me, and she kept working and she kept doing all the things. Like, is that what I want to do? Do I just want to do that for myself, for my family? And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do something different. And so going through that like process of and then I started looking to the world to see like, okay, what do people do if they have their babies? I don't know. I'm 40 now, but like if they have their last baby, what do they do? What is life after having your last baby? Because I don't know what to do now because I was in the mode of just having the babies. And so like going through the transition of that, um and I'm still going through that transition because I think um it's just part of life. But now that I've brought God into my life and have a relationship of like going to the Bible, asking God questions, praying, um it's been a different type of peace of not knowing what's going to come next, because I know that God's got my back.
Yes. I guess what would you have thought peace was before?
Peace before was just like everyone's alive
Really?
because it was during the pandemic. So it's like everyone's alive, everyone's safe. Um and we all got this.
But what
Like
about before that? What was peace for
before
you?
that was me working, kids in daycare. Yeah, it was me working and climbing up the whatever ladder I was making up in my head of um of just getting like making more money and getting a title and doing all that. That was before, and that
Mhm.
was all wiped when the world went through the pandemic, and I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, is that really worth my time without not spending time with my kids, not raising my own kids? It wasn't worth that time.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, I'm trying to think peace to me before I'm not going to even go into the pandemic part, but the peace before that was, yeah, like graduating from college, getting a good job, and starting a family, and everyone being happy in my family, and giving experiences to them, which is still is the same, but to me, I feel like the difference of peace then was performance, like, or what were you saying earlier, like title or like status, like notches, right? Like it would be like, oh, I don't even know that I actually even thought about peace except like not not worrying, maybe. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm trying to
So
think.
okay, I have uh an example like popped in my head. So
Yes.
you know when you go to Disneyland with all your kids and you're like, this day, I remember because I was so like performance based. I was like, we are gonna get so many rides in and we're gonna do every ride.
Yes,
And
and
then
you're gonna like it.
and you're gonna like it and you're gonna run fast with me because we're gonna get to every ride. So I can't like, and I know people like this and they still do this, but I'm like, I'm not that anymore. I'm the person when we went to Disneyland the last time I was telling my husband, "Oh my god." I was like, "This is the best ever." Even though yes, my kids were littler and it was a different, but I was still crazy. Like that was led by me. Like I was like, we have to do every ride. We have to do when they had shows, we have to watch every show and in this order because otherwise we can't get it all done. And so I wanted to
That was me too. That's why I'm laughing so hard. I'd bring a loaf of bread when we had Disney World memberships. We had the stroller, and Mackenzie wasn't born yet. And I would bring the loaf of bread on top and like peanut butter and jelly in the bag and like chips and snacks, because like we are doing all the things. Even though we had an annual membership, like we could go all the time.
So that's performance.
Hot and whiny, and they're crying, and you're like, wait, I went through all this trouble for you. The happiest place on earth.
So
And
I knew
now it's
you'd
a
like
whole
it.
nother vibe. But
Yes.
let me even tell you too, though, because my cousin, she really helps with like navigating all the updates and all the passes and the bands and all that, and the reservations. We can still get a lot done or not, but like even when we do, it's still way more full of peace
Yes.
than before. It was like, huh. But that is a perfect analogy. That's
Yes.
so analogy.
Because then you feel more peace because you're not like trying to get to all the rides, but then you magically get it all done anyways. Like
Yes.
it was the last time we went was California Adventure, and we went Hunter wasn't feeling good, so we tried to go on rides that it was okay, but we weren't like mad. We were just like, okay, we're just gonna do this, and the kids were all up for it. They were not in a crabby mood because I wasn't forcing them to do weird things like run over here and like you be over there, and we did it all together, and we got on more rides than normal, and some of the lines just like magically disappeared. It's like when you stop forcing things to happen because of performance, because you want to get everything done. Like when you stop all that, when you surrender all of that, everything like magically happens. And there's a song that says peace that doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense, but it's because you've let go of that performance part of it. And
Yes.
it's like, you could breathe.
Yeah. And it's just like presence, right? Like you trade performance for presence and you receive peace. Boom. There it is. You trade the performance for presence. You got present with your family in the moment. You get like you focus on everyone's emotions rather than checking off every single ride. Um, Seeing every show and every parade and everything else. Same thing in life. You
Uh-huh.
stop trying to show up to someone else's standards and you say like, well, what does that really bring me joy? Like, is this like me, like on the inside here, God, like let's have us, you bring God in too. Like that is not to that period. That's the foundation. You bring him in and then you start opening yourself up and you're like surrendering and like being willing to go wherever he guides you. And so that is literally how you just get present. You get present with him, you get present with yourself, and peace is just like the byproduct. It's just a
Yeah.
byproduct, and
Yeah.
it's an
And
amazing byproduct.
I don't know. It keeps coming back to identity and not being wrapped up in like who you think you're supposed to be. Like if you're supposed to be that mom that gets every ride done, or the mom that works and has their kids in daycare and is super busy all the time. Because what if you lost that? I I I lost. I got let go from my job. I lost the busyness of my job, and that wasn't me. Like that was me, I guess, but I was letting it be me.
Yeah. That's
But
a perfect time to plug our 5-day Kingdom, Love, and Authority Activation Challenge,
yes.
which I know we are doing this. We're recording this in July 2025, but I know that this challenge is going to be something that we revisit multiple times. So no matter when you're hearing this, come to our website, check out the availability. If you don't see it and you want it, send us a message. We are here. We're real people. We are happy to like respond to you and tell you how you can get into this 5-day challenge. But we were talking about this kind of epiphany we had a couple weeks ago, where in the personal development world, you hear ego deaths and another ego death. And then Cheryl's like, whenever you get Jesus, like whenever you start walking with Jesus, it's just you're walking in your identity. It's not multiple deaths. It's just identity and identity update, and it's unknowing things. Like, to me, it's the unknowing of things you thought you knew, and to taking in and receiving more of his wisdom and understanding, which he gives more and more of as you start journeying with him more and more. And you fix that heart posture first, keep showing up second, and then you get more and more and more. Peace is one thing, like for today's topic, but there's so much more there. So if you haven't yet done so, register for our 5-day Kingdom Love and Authority Activation Challenge. It is going to blow your mind what you're going to unlock in this. And you're going to unlock peace. You're going to unlock joy. You're going to unlock perseverance. You're going to unlock your identity of like who you are according to God and who you want to be with God and in God.
Yes, it's going to be so good. And it's going to unlock the weird random stories like the Disneyland analogy. You're going to get so much. You're going to be like, oh, that's why I went through that. And so we just want you to feel peace in your life, because that's what journeying with Jesus and being closer with God and receiving the Holy Spirit, like that's what has given us more peace, and we want more peace in the world peace. And so I'm just excited for the challenge, excited for someone that's watching this to be part of the Facebook community, just to be in the energy. So
To
I'm
receive
excited.
it, right? Like to
Mhm.
receive God's peace. So we love you, and we will catch you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.